Hi there, this is Two Legs Better, and welcome to my channel, Two Legs Better. Today's episode is focusing on psychology. It's um, kind of the start of my journey, so I'm not sure where it's going. I don't even know what it looks like. So, what I can tell you is today's topic. Today, we'll talk about depression and how to overcome depression, how to deal with that. Um, Today's talk is based, I prefer evidence-based approach. So everything I say on this channel will be based on evidence. And this one is based on an article published in 2024. And I put the reference in the description. You can find the article yourself if you want to check it out. But what I can tell you is this is kind of my style. I try to apply the knowledge to daily life, but it's all based on evidence, and I try not to say too much, and I try to explain what it is. So this is kind of what it is, and I hope you stick until the end because the both the things I'm going to say and the conclusions might be a little bit different from what you thought. Okay, and they are significant. They have serious consequences. So, and the first one is. Who should listen? So you might be saying, oh, I'm not depressed. Well, good for you, right? And this article is particularly targeting the depressed people who go to psychotherapy. So these are clearly severely depressed people. So, but for a majority of us, probably 80-90% of us, we we probably have not approached the clinical depressed yet. Okay, that's good news. But the bad news is, like anybody on this planet, we have up and lows and up and downs, and our emotions fluctuate. So sometimes we feel a little bit depressed. Okay, so and it's no different for the severely depressed people and the other people who feel down. So it's um, they are similar in many ways, and the solutions are similar in many ways too. So even if you are not depressed, or you can still watch this. You may still learn something from here, and hopefully you can help you or your friends, your family, or others who may be low a little bit. At least understanding that can give you some insight on that. So, what is depression in general? Depression is basically low energy. You have no motivation. Life is not worth living. It's just nothing excites you, and the movies are not interesting. The music not interesting. Friends are not interesting. And studying, of course, is not interesting. Of course, if you're a student, whatever. It's just that you lost interest in things. Especially if the things that interest you, excites you in the past, start to fade away. That's when you should be worried. But then worry will give you more depression, so that's even worse, right? So the general point is try to treat depression as just low energy. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to talk to people. I don't even want to cook for myself unless I'm super hungry. But over time, you may not feel super hungry either. So, but anyway, so that's the depression or the depressive state, or there are so many clinical definitions surrounding that. There are lots of nuances to that. But for our purposes, for the purpose of this episode, is that you just need to understand if you're low. If you don't feel the energy, if you're low, that's depression. So basically, you have something, that's a big D, that's depression. And the goal is when you feel depressed, what do? You try to reduce that. You try to increase your energy, right? And how many ways you can do that? And there are many different schools of thoughts on that. For example, some people say, well, you're depressed because you feel worthless, and that's, you could call it a cognition. So you feel the self-worth. The self-worth, you feel like you're worthless, so that's why you feel depressed, right? But self-worth could come from many places, usually from feedback. A lot of the theory goes back to like a childhood or something, like your parents give you a lot of negative feedback or something, Or when you grow up, along the way, you are bullied, you are abused, treated badly by other people, or even just negative reactions. Say, you're a guy, you like a girl, and you just gather all your courage to go and say, ask the girl out and say, oh yeah, do you want to have dinner with me? And the girl just look at you and say, no, who would like to go out with you? Little things like that, even some kind of look or something could send a negative signal. But the thing is this, many times the social clues are ambiguous. Uh, it's very rarely some people just come out and say, you worthless piece of shit. Nobody, very few people would go out to say that to your face. But it doesn't stop people from thinking that way. If people say, oh, I'm so busy today, maybe some other time. And for some people, you take it as a rejection. You take it, oh, she doesn't like me. She doesn't want me. Who would like me? Yeah, all these negative thoughts. So that's the negative thoughts related to self-worth. So, and that's the negative thoughts. This is the cognition part. That's the cognition part. So what you think, right? But there's also sometimes you have a behavior. So for behavior, it could be like you don't exercise, you eat a lot, and you have insomnia, you don't sleep well or something, and these things could contribute to depression as well. So because at least we found out the evidence shows the heavy correlation, but it's hard to know which one is which, whether the arrow goes this way or that way, because depressed people, they don't want to do anything. They don't have any energy. They have low energy, right? But on the other hand, if you do something, if you exercise, if you do something, maybe that will increase your energy, right? So both things could make sense. And now, this particular study I'm talking about, is basically how can you reduce your depressive symptom. That's essentially what it is. So, and there are two ways to do that, right? One is to change your feeling. So make you feel better. How to make you feel better? By change your cognition, by change the way you focus on things. Because a lot of people are overly negative about themselves. They basically look for any clue to put themselves down, and that's essentially what put you down. If you try hard enough, you can get that from anywhere, basically, because all of us have flaws. All of us have something that we regret. We have done bad things. That's common to everybody. But if you focus on that, and that will truly bring you down. So that's the cognition and the emotion part. And the other one is the behavioral part is mostly the social, the activity level. Do you go out more? Do you exercise more? Do you socialize more? So the thing is, we had evidence before that if you socialize more, you are less depressed. No kidding, right? But if I'm depressed, can I still go out? And if you change your thinking, if you are less depressed, your thinking about yourself is more positive. You have less negative thinking about yourself, and vice versa. If you have more negative thoughts about yourself, you're more depressed. So the question becomes, what should we do if we want to change that? If we want to be less depressed, we want to make the D smaller, right? We want to become less depressed. What do? Should we change our behavior first? Should we go out more? Or should we change our thinking, or change our feelings first? Make us feel better. And that is a timeless question. So that's the cognition / emotion, right? So how you think and how you feel, and there's the behavior. So you think about it, what people generally say. If you say, oh, I feel so low these days, and people say, oh, go out more, do more things. Or some people say, psychologists probably say, have more positive thoughts and less negative thoughts about yourself. But which one is right? Which one goes first? And this study actually does that. So the the data, let me describe a little bit about the data so you can have a general sense of how this works, right? Because in psychology, the nature of the science is almost impossible to determine the relationship, the causal relationship, which causes what. It's impossible to say. So what they do is they have some kind of a, think about this, okay? You are going about your day, right? You wake up, you have breakfast, go to work, whatever, and do things, right? Go to study or whatever. And if I give you a phone with an app and with a signal, so at randomly at a point during the day, I send you a message say, what are you doing? Are you socializing or are you being alone? Are you in bed or what are you doing particularly behavior wise? And I also ask you how are you feeling now? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling bad? And what are your thoughts? Do you have negative thoughts about yourself or positive thoughts about yourself, right? So now I have some data point at this particular time, right? So I check back later, maybe in the afternoon, maybe in the evening, I check back later with you on all these questions as well. So I get your data. And then all the data, I have a time series. I understand, okay, so at this particular time, this is what you're thinking, this is how you're feeling, this is what you're doing. And then the later time, okay, this is same thing, how you're feeling, what you're doing, and what you're thinking, right? So then the researchers collected a whole bunch of data, and the question they try to find out is which comes first. So essentially, which one is a better solution? Do we change the way we think first, and then behavior comes, or do we change our behavior first and our thinking comes? You see the difference? So the difference is this: next time if your friends come to you say, I'm low today, do you say change your thinking, think of good things about yourself, or you just compliment him or her, or you tell him or her, okay, let's go grab a movie or something, right? So to make the long story short, what do you think? What do you think? Which one is a better recommendation here, right? Give me an answer. Which one is? Do we tell them to change your thinking or change your behavior? Well, this is what the data says. The data says behavior goes after the feeling. The people first feel better about themselves and then engage more activities. And then build a positive loop and goes from there. It's not the other way around. It's not because, think about it this way. If you don't feel good enough to go out and see, to stay with other people, to socialize, and you are forced to go socialize, it may not have the beneficial effects on you as you hoped. So you need to feel better first and then go out. Then how can you feel better? That is kind of the ageless question, right? This is the conclusion I want you to get. Remember, this is a conclusion. After this is a suggestion. Okay, the conclusion from this data is this: feelings come before behavior. So you gotta try to focus on the cognition and the feeling first. Okay, now after this is a recommendation. It's not based on data from this research. Now, what can you do? If you are depressed yourself, or your friends, or somebody who's depressed in your family or something, what do you make sure they do to get into a positive loop? What do you do? The answer is extremely simple. It's surprisingly simple. The answer is take care of your body first. Feed them, give them enough food, enough water, and then their body will feel better. When their body feels better, then everything else follows. Then you can take them out for more social or something. If you are depressed, remember, this is what I'm telling you here. If you are depressed yourself, make sure you stockpile your refrigerator, if you go to the supermarket, buy more food than you need, and make sure you are well fed. When your body is in a good position, when you are full, when you are satisfied in your body, you feel like your body is ready to do things, and that actually gives you more positive thoughts. So, um, so that's kind of the lesson we can get from this particular study, particular research based on the evidence is that we need to change our feelings and thinking first, and then that will propel people to engage more positive activities. And if we can build a positive loop based on that, it will help reduce our depressive symptoms. So, if you follow this far, I hope you subscribe to the channel because more about these will come. And this is about psychology, about well-being, but I will do more on negotiation. That's my main focus of research and teaching in the past. But anyway, so much for today, and thank you for coming by, and hope to see you again in the future. And stay positive, stay active, stay less depressed, right?